Good morning. I'm Kim Quick. I'm on the Finance Committee here at Blair First United Methodist Church, and also on the leadership team here for the church here. Today I'm wrapping up our stewardship campaign for the fall, which had began back on October 9th, where Marty Buckingham delivered the first message concerning about what it meant about the church and the giving with her and her husband, Rich Buckingham. Then on October 16th, the following week, Aaron Matson shared about their giving and also about how they have become involved now with their new outreach with the Now Committee. After that, it was followed up by Jenny Bruck. Jenny, talked about how her family, when she was growing up, being involved in the Methodist Church, her father being involved in so many different committees, and then also for them moving to Blair and becoming a part of the church here in Blair and becoming a new young family, which we have many new families here with our new church here in Blair. But then, we also, then November 6th, Ron Willoughby. Ron done an excellent job about sharing their message about how he and his wife Nancy and their giving and how they had changed from becoming, as he shared with us, a grudging giver, as he defined it, to a cheerful giver, which I think we can all relate to that. And ourselves, my wife Brenda and I, we could also probably share pretty close to the same type of a story. But also then following up with that was Mike Mackey. Mike sharing how the Blair Church has always been here. Been here for him and his family, himself growing up in the church, and all the different times that they've taken and had, different events at the church. Whereas, from a baptism to being confirmed, to weddings, to funerals, we can all relate to that, I believe. But the Blair Church has always been there. But I think one of the new things for the future is currently is the Worship Pavilion campaign that's currently going on, that, our new young leaders such as Greg Stewart, he's working with Rich Buckingham. What a great new way to be able to reach out to the community in using this worship pavilion. As we know, so many young families, they don't return to church right away after maybe leaving high school, college, whatever, after they leave. But this is a great way to be able to connect with them, because when young people are getting married today, a lot of them are looking for different types of venues. This would be a great opportunity to be able to use for weddings or other events you may have, such as anniversary, maybe a birthday party for kids. We could have morning coffees, as Greg has shared with us as he's been working on this campaign. I just think that is a great way for us to be able to enrich our ministry, to be able to outreach to people. But prior to COVID, God had a plan for us. We, had our building campaign to retire that debt. We got that retired prior to COVID in the fall there of 2019. Then in the spring, March was it, basically is when it was officially came out. It was about COVID, and churches, things closed down. It was a whole different world at that time. Since then, people have not returned to church. Just like today, my message that I'm sharing with you. I'm recording this, as Pastor Gina had shared, able to do this as my work takes me away from being able to attend worship on Sundays several times a year, just as well as so many of our other members of our congregation in what their occupations and careers are, if it's in the healthcare, service provider industry, whatever it is. there's many of us that work on Sundays, but through technology, we're able to do these types of things again, along with our giving. You know, during COVID, people continued to give. But one of the new avenues that we have put in place was, you know, our automatic clearinghouse, ACH, through Vanco, which has been very, very helpful to us to be able to continue to support the church financially. If it wasn't for that during COVID, we would have been much tougher situation. But today I need to also share with you about the financial health of our church. And I need to share with you some information that we'd all talked about and discussed, and had been at a leadership team, and there's been conversations going on for some time. But there's been good discussions going on about the financial health and what are different opportunities for us. The economic condition, denominations, they're transitioning, here in the United Methodist Church, and the just general decline of churches overall. Anyway, I know some of the things I'm going to talk about, they may be kind of tough, but it's not all bad news, okay? However, I would much rather prefer that to be a proactive person than a reactive. As we all know that situations, we don't like surprises, as what, so many people can refer to as what happened with the local college here in Blair. So many people had said, hey, I wish I would have known about this before. We could have really done something before the doors were already locked. And that's not what I'm saying here, is we're locking the doors, okay? I'm not trying to create a financial crisis, okay? I think it's something that needs to be shared on the radar. We need to take a good look as to what our financial giving is. Because if some of the things don't change within our congregation, we're going to have to take a look at doing maybe some changes. One thing about our congregation is when we get behind an issue and people are aware of things, our congregation has always reacted. Just as I had mentioned earlier about our debt retirement. Once we had our debt retirement, we went into the Camp Fontenelle. We made our commitment to Camp Fontenelle, which Blair Church was one of the biggest givers. We fulfilled our commitment as we went into COVID there, which is awesome. The worship pavilion, I think we'll do well there. People will get behind that. But I guess the thing that I would really ask, I'd recently had attended a conference where the speakers was talking about what is going to be your footprint in life. And as you go through life and walk in life with Jesus, we would ask, as from the finance committee, as to what will be your footprint of financial support. To take a look as to what your footprint would look like, as into supporting the congregation and the legacy of this church. Because we all believe that this church will be here and would be able to return to the church to use it for celebrations, grieving, as I talked with earlier. As I said, this is not a message of trying to set an alarm off, but I am advising everybody, this is what our current status is. We are healthy and we are active, but we need to take a look. And again, I think if we all take a look at it, as people return to church and our giving, hopefully, I think will improve. But I also would ask, what is your footprint? And if we could evaluate that as to what our legacy of our church would be. I will ask you just to consider that, be aware. But as I always think, I kind of refer to as I go through life, is in our giving, and I always refer to John Wesley, who started the Methodist Church, was make as much as you can, save as much as you can, and give as much as you can. I always think that is something good to live by. And when you take a look at what your footprint will be, consider that. But anyway, hopefully I will see you next week at worship. Thank you for listening to me. Enjoy the worship today. See you next week. Happy Thanksgiving.